Okay, people, it might be a new year, but my girl AJ still coming with the goodness. So this is the first thing she's passed me, and it's a doozy. Right? You know what I mean? When AJ's involved, you know it's gonna be a good one. So the answer is always yes. So people, when I checked out, right, this new indie feature, All Gone Wrong, yeah, I knew it was gonna be enjoyable, right? So this is written and directed by Josh Guffey. Um, oh no, there's no R. I'm an idiot. It's Guffey, right? I believe so. I feel that's how you pronounce it. Josh Guffey, right? He also produces the film alongside Frank Merrill, Michael Kennedy, and Barry Albuquerque. Levy Kirby handles cinematography. Adrian Stewart edits the piece. Johnny Tackett handles the casting. Production design was from Cameron McCarthy. Um, Alison Schmidt handled the makeup. We also have got visual effects from Ali Richmond and Nick Torres. Sound Sean Killer, Sammy Rose Lamont, and Saul Solis. Dennis Boyd was art department. Second unit, we had Charlotte Lang, Jacob Miller, and Stacy Nation. So our cast people. Well, we've got Chris Halvorsen, right? He's our undercover cop, played by Jake Kaufman. Mikey, his partner, the rookie's looking after, is played by Pete Winfrey. We have got Jim Grace, his commanding officer, played by Peter Mayer. Who else do we have? Detective Truddle, played by John Lenus. Agent Singleton, played by Angeline Lebrise. Right, there's Anthony Haron, played by Antonio St. James, who is Chris's other partner. Then there's Lamont Hughes, right, played by the great Tony Todd. Jolene, played by Crystal Torres. There is Junkie Joe, played by Jean Marion. Daniel, played by Jay Guffey. Diddley, played by Sean Brassfield. Davis, played by Brendan Uchis. Slim, played by LaDion. Bones is played by Eric Petway. Goldie is played by Law X. I think that's really our main kind of crew. Manny Ortega, played by Curtis York. It's also got Mark Anthony Wilkes, John Schraub, Jed Desmond all up in the piece. So, the gist of the flick is okay, after his rookie partner is killed in a drug bust gone wrong, a veteran agent embarks on an unauthorized investigation revealing a vast narcotics network just under the surface of a rural town. Yeah. That's it, man. It's a gritty piece. It's a gritty piece. And boy, you know what I mean? Listen, I knew it was gonna be good, but it's just like, how good is it gonna be? Right? And I tell you, this was frigging exceptional. Right? This is Josh's feature debut. His feature debut. Made 3 shorts before this, but this was the feature. And homie knocks it out the park, right? So there's a director's statement. And these things are always interesting, right? So this one says, I needed a story to tell in my first film class at the University of Iowa in 2006. My sister had become a police officer for our hometown PO, no, that's PD, in Bettendorf, IA, the year before. I reached out to her about meeting her colleagues to hear stories of being on duty in the hope that one would spark an idea for a short film to make in my class. Her shift captain had worked undercover narcotics in the 80s, and he told me story after story about cases, criminals, deaths, and arrests. One in particular had echoes of my favorite movies, film noir, westerns, crime films, and it became the genesis for All Gone Wrong. In the mid 1980s, a small rural Illinois town overrun with a drug trafficking problem didn't have the personnel to combat it. One of their top cops reached out to an elite Illinois State Police task force for help, and one of their best undercover cops was picked to go into the town alone, learn the terrain, build a case, and dismantle the narcotics trade with no help from the local police. In fact, if he was arrested by local PD, he would be booked and processed like a regular criminal. Boy, I mean, that's not really an incentive, is it? Months later, he emerged with a host of arrests and left the organized drug network largely in disarray. This case is immediately brought to mind Sergio Leone's A Fistful of Dollars and Akira Kurosawa's Yogi Bomo. Both stories of a stranger walking or riding into town, playing all of the shady types off each other and escaping the chaos as the last man standing. The stranger in a broken town quality to this real story sent me into years of research that revealed the true depth of undercover narcotics work, touching on many of today's critical issues: criminal justice reform, civil forfeiture, cycles of incarnation, race, corruption, and on and on. I came out of that process envisioning a character so completely dedicated to his destructive tradecraft that he failed to see what was actually happening around him. A deadly shooting opens his eyes and ears to decide what to do with his new sight. Whew. I mean, right? In the years spent researching and creating this story, I've gone from being a hungry college kid to a husband and a father working as a commercial director. This movie has been playing in my head for most of my adult life. It was and is an obsession. Somebody told me that you shouldn't make the movie you want to make. You should make the movie you need to make. I needed to make this movie. I hope after people see it, they will understand why it needed to be made. Right? I mean, right? That's a lot of passion, people. And it shows. It shows in this film. Right? Going in, I did not know this was Josh's first film. Right? This looks like something from a seasoned vet. Right? Everyone involved just kills it. Right? You can have like an assumption of what you probably will be seeing, you know, because we've had films of late with a similar ill. But this is something, man, this is something intense, right? I would liken this to The Wire. You know what I mean? And I'm not joking, right? Because I think what you often get with undercover work and this kind of story, it's kind of glitzy, right? It's kind of flashy. It's real slick and sharp, and you know, this isn't that. This is going into like a lot of detail. You know what I mean? Just in how they're running. Um, oh God, what do you call the people? Not a perk, like shit, I cannot remember, man. But someone you've got, right? Someone you're running, right? The way they're running them, there's a lot of detail that makes it fascinating, right? It's not really skipping over anything. And that's it sucks you in, right? Because I say The Wire because I remember watching The Wire, right? I came to it a bit late, just because the way it was airing over in the UK. A lot of people have been talking about it. I remember watching the first few episodes going, I mean, it's interesting, but I don't know. And then episode 3, suddenly I'm just like, why the fuck are they doing that? Yeah. And I realized, man, I'm all in now, right? I'm all in. And this film just drags you in, right? And you might not even realize how deep you've gotten. Right? We have tremendous performances here, right? Makes you believe everything, right? You can see that Kaufman is, you know what I mean? A vet, right? You can see that he's been in this for a while. Like Chris has seen a lot. He's haggard, but he's passionate about it, right? You can see that Jolene, right? There's layers to her, you know? And when she says, I don't need you to come and save me, I can save myself, right? You believe that, man. And Junkie J, right? Maron really puts on a performance with that because, like, the itch, like, you feel that he's like, you know what I mean? He's on it, right? Everyone really delivers with these performances. It is, man, it is so, so good. So good. Like Goldie kind of reminds me a little of Omar. You know what I mean? Yeah, it's just, man, it's tremendous. It really is. So not only does Josh bring us an incredible layered story with so many twists and turns, right? But everything's very logical here. You know what I mean? There doesn't feel like there's any goose machina. You know what I mean? Just be like, oh, right, okay, but I don't know. There was no indication of that during the film. No, 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 no. Everything that we see, be like, okay, yeah, of course that would happen, and yes, that would go there. Even the way this ends, you know what I mean? This ends in a way that seems very fitting for everything we have just seen, right? It really does. I mean, there's a crazy bit that happens, but you feel it kind of had to, right? With the way people are living and all of this, it has to do that. And then the ending, man, because you think one thing's gonna take place, and then but you don't know. You don't know. It's left on a little, ooh, you know what I'm saying? So it just felt right. This felt right in a story, which I think after you know, what I mean, you read that statement and some other information about Josh and the team that brought all of this to life, you'd be like, yeah, that that really, you know what I mean? That felt perfect, right? That really did. Because it can't feel fake, right? It can't feel just like eh, right? It has to have a weight to it. And this had a weight to it, you know? It really did, right? Which is so good, right? So, you know, it all came together with a team, right? So Josh, Jake, Frank Merle, Barry Aberett, and Michael Kennedy. You know, they came together to bring this vision to life, and something that has taken nearly 15 years, right, to come like this. Because, you know, there's a load of people that have passion projects, and you watch them, you go, that was a good effort, right? It's flawed, but I can see what you were trying to do. But you know what I mean? It feels like it's from a big studio, right? We've had some great films that are gritty, right? There was Destroyer, you know, from I think that was 2018, right? Saw it at London Film Festival. Tremendous film. And this felt like something like that, you know? So if you like, you mean that real gritty undercover crime kind of caper, you know, like god damn, what's the name here? Is it Surgico, right? That one. You've got, like, you know, Donnie Brasco, you know, as I said, The Wire. If you enjoy that sort of story, Destroyer as well, man, then trust me, people, you will enjoy All Gone Wrong. You really will. It's like the cinematography, the acting, the you know, the score, everything fits together to paint this picture of corruption and one man's fight to try and get answers and bring shit to light, right? That's what this is. That's what it is. And when we look at the real world, right? We look at the world we live in and how, you know, people try and bring things to light and it doesn't go that well. Things get messy, right? And this reflects all of that. This isn't, you know what I mean? The corruption by numbers is not that story, right? This is legit. This is legit. It feels, looks, man, just breathes legitness. So if this is what you want in your life, if you love that kind of story, you will not go wrong with All Gone Wrong, people. Trust me, trust AJ. This shit is fire.